This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with vocalist Ronnie Romero. So, Ronnie, everybody knows you from being the front man of a band. You fronted Rainbow, Vandenberg, Michael Schenker, Lords of Black, The Ferrymen, Elegant Weapons, SUNSTORM, but now you're going out on a new adventure. After a decade of fronting bands, you've decided to go solo. So I think the most important question is, are you nervous at all?
No, I'm excited. I think it's probably the most exciting thing that happens to me since I joined Rainbow.
So is it because it's the prospect of something new that makes you excited versus being nervous?
I think it's exciting because it's a kind of a step of I needed to make to see how is my real value as a musician. I was fronting, as you say, many bands through the years, but any of those were my bands. There was another name on it, so it was Rainbow. It was Michael Schenker. It was Adrian Vandenberg, and all the different bands I was working. And the Ferryman was Magnus Carlsson. SUNSTORM, it was Joel Turner before. So I was replacing people many times, and so I was let's say in a safe side of the business, because I didn't need to build a reputation on the band I was playing in, because the people was buying tickets because of that other musicians. So for me, it's exciting that now I'm doing my solo stuff completely me, as I took care of everything, and so the people gonna judge really now, like 100%, is this guy worth it to listen or not? Is capable to make music or not? Or it's worth it to go to see him live or not? Which is something like I think every musician want to know at some point.
Absolutely. Now, in your prior ventures, I'd say you, as far as genre, heavy metal, melodic rock, a little bit of AOR. How would you describe your solo music?
It's a mix of a lot of different influences. I don't have just one kind of a music style that influenced me the most, because I grew up in a family of musicians, and my father, rest in peace, especially, he was a guy who was listening a lot of different bands. He was a huge fan of the American rock bands like Kansas, Boston, Journey, and all that kind of stuff. And 10 Years After, I remember, then Stevie Ray Vaughan, Frank Marino, and all those guitar players, Jimi Hendrix, of course, Creedence Clearwater. And then I turned up into a different kind of music, like Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, then Rainbow, Whitesnake, and Pink Floyd, and many others. So it's a mixture of everything. And that makes sense considering the first two records I did with covers. If you listen to those two records, you can understand why the third record sounds as it sounds. So I would say it sounds like all the musical journey I was going through since I was a kid.
And the new solo album is titled Too Many Lies, Too Many Masters. It comes out September 15th on Frontiers Music. Had you been working on this album for a long time?
Not really. The record label was chasing me to make a solo record for the last few years, because they thought my name was strong enough to establish a solo album. Because I was working at that time already with Rainbow and with Michael Schenker and many others, but I was not clear about it, so then we tried with this covers album first, and it went really well. So we needed to do a second one, and then suddenly the people started to talk about, okay, this guy's going solo, so obviously we're not gonna make another covers album. So we need to go with original material, and I think that was the people was expecting that. Actually, they were asking me about that through the last few years. They were asking me, when you're going to write your own music, and when you're going to sing your own songs and all this stuff. So So when we decided to do it, it was pretty easy, pretty fast, pretty smooth with the guys. We wrote the songs in a couple of weeks, and we recorded the album in a month. The album was ready.
Let's talk about your co-writing team. You have Andy C., who's also your drummer, and Jose Rubio on guitar. How did you meet up with these fellows, and how did they sign on the dotted line to join you?
They were the guys I really wanted to have on the record from the beginning. Andy, he was the first drummer of Lords of Black. So we did 3 albums together. The first 3 albums were Lords of Black. So I knew him as a musician, not only as a drummer. He's a great musician. He has a great sense of music. You know, he can play the piano, he can write music. So it was very important to me to count on him. And then Jose was he is a guitar player, a Spanish guitar player, and I worked with him like 11 years ago. We did an album together, and in Spain, it was just released locally, but it was pretty successful in the country, you know. So it seems like we have a good chemistry writing music together. And since a very versatile guitar player, I really wanted to have him on the record. So, you know, we talked, the 3 of us. I told the guys, this is the direction I want to have on the record, this kind of, you know, songs, and it was pretty smooth.
Let's talk about a couple of songs that you have out right now. You have Castaway on the Moon. Is there something that inspired the lyrics on this particular song?
Yeah, it's a movie from, I think it's a Korean movie. Yeah, I saw it once. Is a very romantic movie about a guy who is cast away and in the city, but in a river, in the middle of it. There is a river, there's a small island, and this guy is trying to suicide himself from jumping from the bridge. So he jump on this little island and he get isolated from the society. So he construct his own world on this little island in the city. You know, so it's a very nice context. So I watched the movie and I thought on the title of the movie, and it brings me a very good idea to write a song, and, you know, to talk about how society is working nowadays, when, you know, we're not a society anymore. Everybody's just on their own. And that's the perfect example. You know, this guy trying to suicide, you know, jumping on the river, and he just landed in this little island, and you know, and he make his house there and everything in the big city, around the big city. So it's pretty interesting.
I have to check that one out.
Yeah.
You got another song out called Chased by Shadows. If there's something in particular that inspired those lyrics.
Yeah, we were talking about that. There was a riff that Jose brings on the table, and because I told Jose, I want to have a couple of songs in this direction, like Black Sabbath, with it from Dio era, and or a little bit like a Dio solo stuff, like Look Up the Walls album or Dream Evil, that kind of stuff. And it came with this riff, and it was pretty interesting to me. So what inspires me to write, when I was listening the riff and the structure of the song, it was about this continuum pressure we have, especially musicians and people, you know, public people, to be perfect all the time in front of other people, you know, and you don't have a space for your own. You're always chased by shadows, as I said in the song. Like, you know, you never can be yourself. You don't have time to be yourself, because you need to be what other people want you look when they're looking at you. So that's the song is about.
Are you going to release a 3rd single from the album when the album is released?
Yeah, we're going to release, actually, yeah, in a week or so, we're going to release the song that gives the title of the album, Too Many Lies, Too Many Masters. It's going to be like animated lyric video, pretty nice, pretty well done. And then we have a surprise, let's say, because after the release, we have another video clip that it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be there. It was not in the plan, but I thought, you know, there is a song called Crossroads. It's a kind of a bluesy song, and for me it turns in a really very nice song to make a video clip. So we did an extra video clip. It's going to be released after.
One of the songs that really stood out to me listening to the album was A Distant Shore, a little bit different than what I've heard from you in the past. I like the way that it's structured, the way that it goes, and it's a really good song.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a special song for me also, because it's a song I wrote for my son, Oliver, because he lives in Spain, and we have a little situation to meet each other for the last couple of years. So that's why it's called A Distant Shore. So yeah, it's a very special song for me, and I really wanted to do it in that way because he is a huge fan of those more like pop bands like Imagine Dragons and all, even Coldplay a little bit. So I really wanted to make a song that he will like, not just heavy metal or rock, something like he will love to listen, and that's why it's a little bit out of the line of the rest of the songs in the album.
Still fits in. It's a great track. You heading out on the road soon on the to promote the solo album. Do you bring the studio band on the road with you? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's the band, that we recorded. It's besides of the bass player, we changed, but the rest of the guys we're going all on tour, the same lineup.
And you're going to be playing. You got a couple shows in September, and then it really kicks off in January, playing through Belgium and Germany. I saw that you're playing almost every night. That's quite the feat right there.
That's what I love. It's days off. I mean, doesn't help for me, especially for my dynamic. I need to be singing. If I take a couple of days off, then when you need to go back to the stage, it's like a little bit, then it's like a start again. So I prefer to do that way, and that way also we can play more cities in the same period of time. But yeah, we're not only playing Germany and Belgium. We are adding more dates. So 2024, it's going to be full of dates, at least until the end of the summer.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Yeah, we have 3 dogs. And we live in the forest, so probably they saw an animal or something.
Wouldn't be the first dogs that interrupted an interview. You throughout the summer, you were touring with Elegant Weapons, your band with Richie Faulkner of Judas Priest. I know it was a short little run, but how did it go?
It was great. I mean, we were surprised because we just released the album at the end of May, and then we were straight on tour. So there was not too much time for the people to listen to the album, actually, besides a couple of singles we released before. So it was really surprising for us that the people, they were really enjoying the set. We played most of the songs, like 8-9 songs of the album we were playing every night, and most of them were new for the people. They were new songs they never heard before, but they were enjoying, and that was a very, very positive sign we saw through the tour. So we came back with a very positive energy from that tour.
I know that Judas Priest is getting ready to release their next album. Is there a chance of more touring with Elegant Weapons or an album somewhere in between that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the plan. The guys, they're starting to work in the new songs, I think. So at some point during winter, we're gonna go to the studio to record a second album, and then before the summer, probably we're gonna make a run by ourselves, playing clubs. So we can show the first album and then maybe some new songs also.
Is there a possibility of seeing Ronnie Romero in the United States?
Yeah, hopefully we are working on that. By now we're close to set a tour in Central and South America, so it would make sense to go to the US also. So because it's a long trip. but yeah, I mean, I really want to. I've been there for the first time doing a proper tour with Michael Schenker last year, and it was awesome. So I think at some point in 2024 we're gonna make it.
You recently wrapped up your time with Michael Schenker. It seemed to happen a little earlier than expected. Was this to focus specifically on your solo career?
There was a mix of things. Obviously, the most important was like, you know, I really want to do my own stuff, and then it was clashing with it's. I mean, I knew that at some point it's gonna clash on the schedule, you know, and that's very important. You know, I'm doing my solo stuff. We're kind of starting with Elegant Weapons that we need. You know, we need to go out and play. And Michael is playing a lot, so at some point it's going to be a problem, you know. So, and also because I felt like the same feeling I have with Rainbow, like I did that already with all, you know, with all the respect and appreciation and all that Rainbow brings to my career, because, you know, that was the band that put me on the spotlight. I think that I'm done with that already. I mean, it was a great time. I will be always grateful for have the chance to play with Richie and with Michael also, but I think that it's time to move on and do my own career, you know, separate from that.
You posted a photo recently of you and Tony Hernando in the studio working on the new Lords of Black. How far along are you?
Well, the album, I think we got the info yesterday, actually, from the record label. It's going to be released beginning of 2024. So yeah, the album is ready, just delivered to the record label. They are setting the release date, which is going to be first half of 2024. And now we're planning to make the video clips and why not also to make a run with the band playing live. That's something that didn't happen since at least 5 years. So I think it's time to do it.
Frontiers also announced there's a new SUNSTORM album coming in 2024. Are you going to be singing on it?
As far as I know, yes. But I guess so. I mean, but that's a project that doesn't interfere too much with all the other plans, because it's just a studio recording, so it's a studio project. So as far as I can enjoy working with Alessandro and those great songs, I think it's going to be okay for everybody.
Well, I hope you have a good day planner or secretary, because your calendar is booked. I don't know how you keep it all together, Ronnie.
My wife and myself, so yeah, it must be.
Well, throughout all that busyness, you took the time to speak with KNAC.com, and we really appreciate that. The new album, Too Many Lies, Too Many Masters, out September 15th on Frontiers Record. Great album. I wish you the best of luck with it, Ronnie.
Thank you very much.